Assalamu alaikum, dear customers. Inshallah, a few minutes we will start. This is just a brief introduction about our webinar. Will be about making online learning a success. Our expert with us will be Mr. Nidal Khalifeh. He is the CEO of Safa Educational Group, which is for educational consultation based in Amman, Jordan. Mr. Nidal, he is a graduate from Harvard Graduate School and University of British Columbia. And he has many certificates in the field of online learning and teaching technology and techniques and structure. I hope today we'll have a nice presentation from him about the online learning, especially with the coronavirus, the COVID-19 pandemic. So he will be with you to help all of you out how to make your school and your students capable of running the online teaching process smoothly, inshallah, and to get your targets done. He will speak in general, and we'll have an open discussion after 45 minutes roughly to discuss if you have any special questions about your school, about or your difficulties you face. Mr. Nidal is with us. We'll give him the mic right now, and he will be with you in the next hour and a half. Thank you very much, Mr. Nidal, for joining us.
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for attending. Thank you for your time. I'm very excited to actually reach out to teachers and educational leaders in the US. I'm going to present. So I hope you can see my slides. I'm going to speak in general, as explained, about online learning and the things that I see will help educators and educational leaders achieve a better online learning strategy, tools, and everything that you need as a basic to make online learning happen. So day one, we will talk about online learning in general, planning for online learning, just like you plan for your classroom, online learning tools and resources, and how to manage change in online learning. Then we'll have an open discussion. So I'll speak for 45 minutes non-stop. So I'll be talking for 45 minutes. And then I'll take a break and let you guys talk and answer your questions. Day two, tomorrow, we'll talk about assessment in online learning, policies for effective online learning, and common mistakes in online learning, some stuff that we saw during the COVID-19 and tips on how to overcome them. And again, tomorrow we'll have an open discussion. So if we didn't answer you today, hopefully we can answer you tomorrow. So let's start. Online learning. So if we ask about the definition of online learning, we get a lot of answers. I tried to put them in bullet points to make things simple. So online learning, we know that the space and time is different from face-to-face in the classroom learning. And we usually hear synchronous and asynchronous. So we all know synchronous is at the same time, asynchronous is on your time. Synchronous, the teacher is there and the student is there at the same time, exactly like what we're doing now. So you guys are on the other end of the line, and I'm speaking to you, and this is synchronous. Asynchronous is me sending you this presentation later after the meeting, so you can access it on your own time. So this is the first thing about online learning. It can happen synchronously or asynchronously, and there's benefits for this and benefits for the other way. Content is a bit more dynamic. It can be text, like textbooks. It can be audio, video, games, you name it. Because it's digital, it can be anything. Instructions need to be clear, and feedback and guidance needs to be heavier than face-to-face. The reason is because there's body language, in the classroom, and as a teacher, You're giving some formative assessment in the classroom, and you can read from the students' eyes, from their attendance and attention span or attention to you, that they understand you. But in a distant learning or online learning environment, this is not there. So when you give a task or an activity or an assignment, you need to describe it really well, and you need to give heavy feedback. You need to give a lot of feedback, a lot of guidance to your students. So this is where it's different for online learning with face-to-face learning. The activities are a bit different. There's more activities because you need to read again, and they're not in front of you. So you need to give more activities. You need to give maybe even individualized activities or things that accommodate for your students' needs, and maybe extra curriculum or extra reading. So activities are a bit different. They are more in quantity. Also planning. Planning needs to be agile, and you need to give space for students to actually do their work. And this also gives space for creativity. If you look at a classroom environment and a task that's being conducted in a classroom, and then you look on online, because the student is at home and online, they are not influenced by their peers. Of course, this is a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing about it is that the student is challenging themselves. So they're trying to achieve the best out of the task or the plan that's given to them. If they're in the class, you are as good as the most achieving child in the class. So everyone is benchmarking themselves on that student. But with online learning, it's a better way for students to challenge themselves, because they can't see their peers and measure their performance. So when we plan for online learning, we need to accommodate for that and make sure that we allow the student to challenge themselves and expand our imagination from what they can provide. So this is how I would like to introduce online learning in those 5 points. Of course, again, the advantages, there are skills that students develop with online learning. And honestly, those skills are now on high demand in the work environment. So first, time management. Because the student has to go into a portal and access that portal with the content, the assignments, and everything that they have on their to-do list, they have to organize their time. They need to put a schedule and see when they have to actually accomplish every task. This is really important for them to achieve the online learning, and also it's really important to improve the skill of time management. In the classroom, no, the teacher gives the schedule. It's a day by day, and they need to go and follow that schedule. On the online learning side, no, they have to build their own schedule, which is something that's really important. It's a very important skill. And if you go to the workspace, you would see that the people who have good time management skills, they achieve better, and they go up the ladder really quickly, and they become more successful. Research and inquiry. Because the student is not always accessing the teacher and throwing these questions at the teacher, they have to look for the information. This is really important. This skill is vital in the workspace. If I have an employee who keeps coming to my office asking for questions, this shows that this employee will not become a leader and is not a problem solver and lacks a lot of skills. But if I have an employee who comes with solutions because they did the research, this is really important. This guy I can trust, I can give more tasks to, and will go up the ladder, of course. So research skills grow in an online learning environment. And it's okay for you as a teacher to ask your students to look for the knowledge. You don't have to always provide it. You give the headlines, you give the guidance, but you don't spoon feed your students. And this is one of the advantages in online learning. Digital social communication. You can see today that a lot of people face a challenge presenting their ideas online, on social media, expressing themselves. If you're a learner and you're young and you start using online learning, you will improve this skill a lot, because a lot of assignments will have to do with discussion, feedback, peer-to-peer, and self-assessment. So you're growing your skill in social communication. And when you have an online presence, then you will communicate with everyone better, and you can become someone who people like to talk to because you have these skills. And you can, of course, become famous and influence positively your domain, whichever domain that was. Also, something really important with online learning, students grow a skill of lifelong learning. So they keep looking for information, they keep advancing. And the reason is because they knew how to research and how to look for information, and they understood that knowledge is cumulative and they can keep building. They will always be learning. So this skill of lifelong learning is really important, and this is how it grows. The bad thing about face-to-face is spoon feeding, and it will not give the student this skill. So we all know that online learning has its pros and cons, but honestly, the pros are more than the cons. Okay, so point number 2, students learn on their own speed and according to their time. This is really important because some students get bored in the classroom because the teacher is repeating something that they already understood. This is a common case. With online learning, this is not the case. You watch the video, you didn't understand it, you repeat it. No one has to watch it again with you. So time is managed effectively and efficiently. Students learn from their peers because there's a lot of discussions, a lot of peer-to-peer learning in online environment. Students get to learn from their peers a lot. There's more feedback and guidance from the teacher. Because the teacher gets more time to give feedback, the feedback is meaningful, and the guidance is really useful. Not like having 25 students at the same time that you need to give feedback to. No, you can do it one by one because you have more time. There's no more lectures. There is only online learning. So you have time to give feedback. So we understand that online learning is different for different age groups. K-3, guardians are involved. From grade 4 to 7, guardians are somewhat involved. And from 7 to 12, guardians are not involved. This is really important to highlight because many parents, for example, think that if their child is in an online learning environment, they shouldn't interfere. And this is not true. Young children need guidance, and parents need to be involved, and they need to make sure that students are submitting their assignments and attending to their content and going through the schedule. So this is an answer to everyone who is asking, well, we have younger children, parents don't want to be involved. This is something that we need to highlight to the parents. You need to be involved, and we need to also communicate this properly with the parents. So parents from K to grade 7, they are somehow involved, and they are monitoring their children, because you as a teacher, you can't be at home and you can't ask the student when you don't have technology what happened with your homework, and have you submitted your assignment. If you have, please show me, bring your Chromebook, show me how you submitted. No, this is not the way you submitted. You have to go to the submission area, and so on. First thing is planning for online learning. And this is where I need some water. So, do we have lesson plans? Not really. We have weekly plans. In an online learning environment, you don't have lectures. Yes, I know a lot of people will be surprised. They want to open the camera and keep talking like what I'm doing now. But imagine yourself watching a video for 7 hours a day, 5 days a week. It's not realistic. So the structure is different. This is why you have to plan a weekly plan. And weekly plans allow the student to know what this week, the coming week, what activities they have, reading material, and all these things. And they can plan their time and schedule accordingly. So planning for online learning first starts with the syllabus. And I think you guys already know this, but I have to say it. In your syllabus, you need to put a video. This video is an introduction. And in a coming slide, I'll tell you some tips on how to do an intro video. It shouldn't be more than 5 minutes. And it's about you and about the subject and the topics that are covered within that subject. Maybe every semester will have a syllabus, so you can give your student an idea. Usually the syllabus is a text file. So it's either a Google Doc or Microsoft Word. So it's just a text file that you put all the information about your course in. So first thing, it has to have a link for a YouTube video explaining the course and introducing yourself to your students. Second thing, you need to describe the course, of course. You have to write 2 or 3 paragraphs about this course, again, according to your child, to your student age. If they're really young, then you can make only a video and some hints to the parents. If they can read properly, then you should write a good description. You need to put guidelines for communication. How can they reach you, when, and how? So it's by email, or you're using another tool for communicating with your students. And if they're going to send you something, how do you want to receive it? How the title of that email should be, so you can know which email is important, which email is not important. So you need to put a lot of guiding and guidance to your students. The more information you put, the easier it becomes for you to run your online learning environment. Tips on how to use the platform. If you're using a platform, for example, Google Classroom, something that we will demo today, you need to put some guidelines. Even if you share a link from Google themselves on how to enroll and how to use Google Classroom, that would be enough. But you need to put this information in your syllabus. You need to put all your weekly plans there. And I'll show you now the generic semester plan that will have the weekly plans in, and the weekly plan by itself. Also, you need to put your office hours. So those are the hours that you are available online to answer any questions and help your students. Maybe you do it 5 times a week, every day for 1 hour. Maybe you put them all in one day and you sit there for like 5 hours. It's your call, and according to your schedule. Also, you have to put a timetable, referencing all the activities and all the due dates. So it's like a calendar that they go to, and you have to make sure it's really clear and they can read it easily. Okay, so this is a semester plan. You put the subject, if you're teaching math, for example, first semester or second semester. You assign the week. So don't put dates here. The reason why is you want to reuse it year and year after. So if you put dates, you need to always go and change the dates. Week 1 is week 1. It's the first week that you start, regardless. It's in August, September, October, doesn't matter. So week 1, you put the link for the introduction video. You write your objectives, and you're clear about them. of course. You write the topics that are covered in that week, content, and I love to have links here to the textbook, maybe the video, the audio, anything that you're using as content in that week needs to go there. And because this is a digital format, URLs are welcomed. So you just put the link of the video, it's enough, the link of the content, PDF or whatever, just insert it there. And the activities, you need to explain the activities that you're doing in that week. And if you have any assignments and due dates, also you can put them there. So this is the semester plan. And again, the weekly plan, on the other hand, has some more details. So it's structured differently. So just to be clear, the semester plan is in the syllabus, right? Weekly plan is provided every week to the student. So as if you're giving them the information twice. And in online learning, you need to be giving the information in more than one channel. You need to make sure that you're using more than one channel to reach your students. You can do a video, send an email, and maybe add a notification somewhere with the same message. This way, you're sure that they all heard you and they know what to do. So the weekly plan is provided at the end of each week for the next week. So you put your objectives, the subject, week number, introduction video link, and then you have a table where you put your topics, content, activities, and assignments and due dates. It's really easy to build this if you have the semester plan. It's the same thing, different layout, and you provide it to your students. If you're using Google Classroom, you put it there. If you're using Edmodo, you put it there. Teams, regardless. Make sure that you build all these things outside in a folder, and then insert them in whatever platform that you're using. Okay, planning for online learning, tips for shooting intro videos. So an intro video is really important to connect with your students because there's no face-to-face, right? And you need to be really, they need to feel that you're there, they need to feel that you're close to them. But I've seen a lot of intro videos that went sideways. So in order to not mess up your intro video, I just have seven tips for you. First, camera shouldn't be in your hand. Don't hold the camera and start talking. It makes people dizzy. It needs to be fixed somewhere. Please connect a microphone like the one I'm using, or you can use a wired one. It doesn't matter as long as we get a very clear voice from you. We need to hear you properly. No noise around you, please. So your students will be struggling to understand. Remember, they might not have headsets at the time. And if you have any noise around you, it will be really difficult for them to understand you. Look at the camera. So you need to look at the camera, not on the slides. I sometimes look at the slides to read, but if it's an intro video, it's only a few minutes. Just look at the camera and talk to the camera so they can feel that you're talking to them and not to the slides like this. So I'm reading from the slides, and you see that I'm not connecting with you. But if I'm looking at the camera and I'm talking to you, I'm connecting to you. And this is really important. Smile to recording. Sometimes we're serious, we just want to get the job done, and we're not smiling. And this affects our students. It's really important to smile. Show your teeth, I see. Check your recording. Don't just send it. Make sure that it's according to your standard. Sometimes the mic is not connected properly. Sometimes the light is not really good. You need to make sure that the video is of good quality. Also, upload it to YouTube. Don't send it as a file. The reason is if you send it as a file, it's a big file. Maybe it's 60 megabytes or 100 megabytes. And this requires a lot of internet for your students to download it. It won't open immediately. They have to download it and then play it. But if you upload it to YouTube, it's much lighter and it can play on different resolutions. So if their internet is poor, still you can deliver your content. And we will talk about having your YouTube channel and how you can actually upload content. When you upload it, if you don't want anyone else to see it, only your students, make it unlisted. So unlisted means anyone who has the link can see it, but if they go on YouTube, it won't show. Share the link with your students, of course, and those are the tips to make an intro video. Make it short, don't repeat a lot, and talk to the camera again. It's really important. Smile, and all these tips. So tools and resources. This is really important. And honestly, if you're using the right tools, you can achieve a lot and save yourself a lot of time. I'm talking about time. Yes, okay, we're on schedule. Create your YouTube channel. How do you create your YouTube channel? If you have a Gmail account, you already have access to your YouTube account. So it's the same account. You sign up to your YouTube using your Gmail. Try any action of uploading a video. If you don't have a channel, it will tell you don't have a channel. Would you like to create a channel? And you would immediately say, yes, I want to create a channel, and you give it a name. It can be your name or anything you want, and upload your videos, making it unlisted if you don't want anyone online to see it. We're going to send you these presentations, and you will see all these URLs, and you can click on them. This URL down here will tell you how to make your channel, and also I think, yes, I have a demo for you to show you how to access your YouTube and create your channel. So this is my browser. I think you can see it. This is my Gmail, images, and these are the 9 dots Google Apps shortcut. If you click on it, you get to see all the products that Google provide for you, and they're all free. If you scroll down, you have YouTube. And if you click on YouTube, it will take you to YouTube channel, okay? And in this channel, you can click on your profile, your channel. You see this? If you click on your channel, and if you don't have a channel, it will ask you to create an account for it. Or if you have a channel, it will take you to your channel. Usually, if this is the first time you have a channel, it will be empty. And all you have to do to upload your video is click here, upload video. After you upload the video, it tells you, do you want to make it public or do you want to make it private? So you select the video and you go through the process, and you select make it unlisted. Don't say private. Private, no one will see it except you. Make sure it's unlisted or public. If you wanna make it public, you can make it public. You can define the title of the video, a short description, even put tags to your video. These things are your choice to handle. But eventually, you can see if I go to edit here, this is one of the videos that I've made. I put an intro, a title, a description. I can select thumbnail. Is it made for kids? It's not made for kids. If I want to put tags for it, is it public? So I can either select private, unlisted, or public. If I want to only only the people that I share the link with to access it, I would say unlisted, and I would copy that link and send it to the people I want them to see the video. If I only want to see the video, only myself, no one else, even if they have the link, it will go private. So this is where you specify that, and those are extra options that we shouldn't go through now. And there's analytics. You can see who saw the video, how many people saw the video, and all these things. So you can see we have 1,240 views, and those are the videos that I've uploaded. And I can actually put them in playlists So if you're teaching more than one grade or more than one subject, you can make playlists according to your subjects. So every video you put them in a group. So the playlist is a group, to make it simple. And if you have more questions about this, I'll keep them open. And in the question time, I'll be looking at them. And hopefully I'll go back to that screen and give you more tips. So first thing, you have to have YouTube as your first tool. This is your first weapon in online learning. You need to make sure that you have a YouTube channel, so you won't send big files to your students, and you won't lose all your videos after you have worked really hard on creating them. And this is a very good tool, free. You don't pay anything for it, and it's really useful. I have to say, first few videos will be difficult. It's okay, it's a learning curve. We're in education. Learning is not easy. You need to try, you need to make mistakes. Ask your students for feedback. It's okay, and grow that skill. Online learning is a skill, and you need to develop it. So what other tools are there? This is water time. Okay, so select a portal. When we say a portal, we're talking about a place where everything is organized. One place to access all the resources, all the assignments, everything. And this makes your life easier. You don't have to have everything shattered everywhere. So Google Classroom is something that I use. Microsoft Teams also, I use it. Edmodo, and there's a lot of systems. Just Google LMS, and you will see thousands of softwares, maybe hundreds, not thousands. If you're looking into virtual classrooms or video conferencing, of course, Zoom that we're just using right now, WebEx, Meet, Teams, they have also video conferencing. So a lot of systems are now actually launching video conferencing solutions for online learning. I would like to also, demo Google Classroom. And we go back to Google Classroom. So to access Google Classroom, you need to have a Gmail account. It's like YouTube, exactly like YouTube. And if you click on those shortcuts, you will find Google Classroom listed here. So it's called Classroom. It's easy to find. You just scroll down throughout those apps and you click on Classroom. If it's the first time you're using Classroom, you will have an empty page with a plus on the top right corner. And if you click on that plus, you have two options. You can either join a class, so you're a student, or create a class, you're a teacher. And when you create a class, please make sure that you use the naming the same way for all your classes. So the only required field is the first one. If you're teaching math, grade 7, for example, section A, you can do it this way. But if you don't want to do it this way and you want to use the section area, you can say section A, subject math, room 104, and you put whatever name you want here. So you can either use the full, all the fields, or just the first field. But make sure you're consistent. Don't get your students confused with different namings or different styles of doing the naming. So let's go in one of the classrooms that I give training for teachers, and in that classroom you can see 4 top groups. You have stream, classwork, people, and grades. Stream is, you can say it's like Facebook. You can post comments here. You can write welcome to the class. You can say this is for all my classrooms or only for this classroom, all my students or a selection of students. I can post it now. or I can schedule it to be posted, or I just save it as draft and then use it later on. I can attach things to it. But guys, please don't use this space for your assignments. Your classwork is done in the classwork section, not in the stream. This is only for posting general information, giving heads up, and that's it. The stream is like a discussion board. Don't put assignments there. If you want to do an assignment, if you want to create an assignment, skip the stream and go to classwork. Inside classwork, you have a big button that says create. And here you can create an assignment, a quiz, and this will use Google Forms. One question, so just one question if you want to post one question, and you can upload material. So, and you can reuse post. I love the topics. This is where you organize your content, whether it was assignments, classwork, like quizzes, material, you put them in topics. And for online learning, your topics are week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. So if you want to add a topic, you would say week 1, and you say add. You will see that it's added here, and it's empty, and you start adding your work in this section. Okay, so you need to go back to classwork. It's empty here. So every time you create an assignment, I might be a bit fast, but this is an important tool that you can use. So I just created a topic called week 1. I go to my create option. I go to assignment. I give this a title. So assignment number 1. Description, very thorough description. I add an attachment, or I create a document for it. And then I go and assign it to week 1. So it will show in week 1. Okay, so if I say assign, you will see it showing up in week 1. And this helps my students get organized, helps me get organized, and makes things much easier. Usually, I start uploading the syllabus. This is the first thing I upload. So my syllabus is here. I put a description. It shouldn't be attached to a topic because it needs to always show on top. This is why I don't add it to week 1, week 2, week 3. I keep it without a topic, and I post it. I can attach it like a document, a file, or if it's on my Google Drive, I can do that. So material, it will show here. As you can see, it's a draft. It's still not saved. So if I click save, it will show. So first thing is my syllabus. I can add also an intro video and a schedule for my office hours independently. I know it's in the syllabus, but as we said, you have to put it in more than one place for people to access it. So the first thing that they need to see is the syllabus, intro video, and weekly plan, or office hours. And then you create your weeks, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and so on. And inside every week, first thing you need to put week plan, intro video, and then the material, the assignments, the quizzes. And make sure when you're creating an assignment or a material, the difference between a material and an assignment, you all know, assignment has a due date, it has a grade, it has all these things. Material, it doesn't have any of that. It's just a file that students need to read. A lot of teachers make this mistake. They create a material as an assignment, and they ask students to submit, and students are confused because there's no place to submit. And teachers don't know how to put grades because it's not an assignment, it's a material, and so on. So make sure that you're using every tool for its purpose. So your classwork goes here, and as we said, just make it week 1, week 2, week 3 to make things simple and easy. You can access your virtual classroom from here. So if you click on Meet, it will take you to the virtual classroom. You don't have to give a link to your students. As soon as you created a Google Classroom, and you go to settings, you can see that, so one second, I'm trying to, yeah. So as soon as you go to Google Classroom and you go to settings here, and you ask Google Classroom to create a virtual classroom for you, this will be a fixed virtual classroom for your class. You don't have to use the link anymore. You don't have to share it with your students. All they have to do is go to their Google Classroom, go to their classwork, and they will see this button here. And this makes it really, really easy for them to use the system. No need for links, no need to share the links with them, and everything is organized. Also, there's a calendar for your Google Classroom. So if you're teaching math grade 4, there's a calendar for that. And when you click on that calendar, you can have more than one calendar at the same time. So if you can see I have a lot of calendars, so math, Nidal, reminders, Arabic, I can click on all of them and they will show at the same time on the calendar, or I can select a few to show on the calendar. So this will help me see if there's any conflict in my calendar. Back to Google Classroom. I know it's a lot. We give 2 or 3 sessions just to train people on Google Classroom. But I want you to know that this tool will help you, and it's free, and it's really useful. You can also add teachers to help you in the education setting. So if you have a co-teacher, you can just invite them. If you want to invite your students, you can either send a link to them, or you can use a code. I think the code is showing here. Yeah. Okay, the code will show in the stream. So this is the code. Your student just put this code. So if they copy it, if you share it with them by email or something, you can give them that code. And when they go back to the main page and click join, all they have to do is put that code. And that's it. They're in your classroom. So it's really easy for them to join. If you have their emails, you can just invite them. You don't even have to give them the code. You go here and you invite them. You put their emails here and invite, or you can send them an invitation link. So you have more than one option to get your students on the system.
Mr. Nidal, just sorry for the interruption. Yeah. I noticed after you launched the Google Classroom, the video recording, your voice tone is different. Can you check if that Google Classroom is opening and recording? Yeah, the second tab.
I don't think it's recording, but I'm trying to
the tab. Yes.
It, but okay.
Yeah.
Maybe this is better. Okay.
I think it's okay. Thank you.
Okay. So the good thing with Google Classroom is that if you're a student and you have 10 courses or classrooms on Google Classroom, and you have a lot of assignments, you don't have to go in every classroom to see your assignments. All you have to do is just land on the main page and select something called to-do list. Of course, the teacher has something called to review, but if you're a student, you will see a to-do list, and it will be a list of activities that you have to do, and you have to like turn in an assignment or something. So this is really useful for students to organize their time. I'm not going to talk more about Google Classroom, but if you have questions, please ask me, and I would like to answer them. Okay, so online learning tools and resources. A lot of people say, okay, we have the tools, but we don't have the content. One of the portals that I really like, and the small image here on the right of the slide, are all the Arabic platforms that provide content, tools, assignments, and all these things. One of the websites that I like is madrasa.org. I think some people are familiar with it. If I click on it, madrasa.org provide a lot of content, subject-based, topic-based. So if you go to, and it's in Arabic. I know a lot of people ask about Arabic content. So if you go to math, you have all these topics. So if you go to Jabr and you go to Asasat or Hal al-Mu'adalat, you can see a video that explains exactly this topic or subtopic even, okay? And what you have to do as a teacher is just copy that link, it's copied, and put it on Google Classroom. Of course, you have to watch the video, but the beauty of those videos, they're all 5 minutes to 6 minutes, not more. And this is really important because students can't keep watching long videos. So this portal is amazing for that. And I'm just facing a problem with the drop down from Zoom. Every time I put my cursor on top, Zoom comes down and I can't select the browser. Okay, so this is something Zoom needs to work on. Yeah, okay, you can actually drag it. Nice. Okay, Nafham is another portal. Okay, Nafham is another portal. Khan Academy, they also have Arabic, so you can look for the Arabic Khan Academy organization. Idrak, also this is really good. So if we look at Idrak, yeah, you go to the educational sector for schools, and you have to log in, of course, as a teacher or as a student, or as a parent, and you get videos for every topic. And this is for the Jordanian curriculum. But honestly, if the content is made in topics, it's not a big deal. It will be almost similar to what you guys have. Something that's really interesting I use it with my kids is Read Along. Read Along is it's an AI app where you actually download it on your Android phone, and the student reads, and it corrects the reading and reads back to the student to make sure that they understood. So if you have your phones with you now, you can download Read Along. It's free. It's very nice. It's for all ages almost. It has short stories, very short stories, and long stories, and so on. And it supports a few languages. Not Arabic, unfortunately, but maybe soon. Google, they have a lot of free resources that will engage your students. So you have Applied Digital Skills by Google. This is really useful. The student will go through a learning experience on how to use internet properly, how to be safe online, and how to look out for themselves online. Be Internet Awesome is almost the same, but with resources for coding and learning some skills. Something that's really useful, UNESCO recently has listed the tools for online learning after COVID-19. So if you go to the UNESCO link, you will see all the tools and the content providers for every subject. So if you're looking, for example, for resources to provide psychological support, psychosocial, sorry, digital learning management system, you can see Google Classroom here, you can see Edmodo, Class Dojo, you see so Schoology, I think you've heard of them. System builds for basic mobile phones. This is for countries that have problem with internet. System with strong offline functionality, massive open online courses, MOOCs, self-directed learning. Some people asked, how can we make our courses fun? Use those tools. Those tools are engaging, they're fun. So ask your student to spend 15 minutes on one of them. They will learn a lot, they will build skills, and they will be engaged and having fun. Mobile reading application, again, collaborative platforms, tools for teachers to create content. So there's a big list, yeah? Take a look at it, investigate it, play with it, and make sure you understand it. Yeah, so this will be the end of the presentation. We're talking about change and managing change. We're just gonna say that Anything that's new on anyone, you will go through these 3 stages. First, you will be shocked. No, I'm used to doing face-to-face. I don't want to do online. Online is not good. It's not as good as me inside the classroom. Students need to hear my voice. I don't want them to see a video recorded by someone else. What's the purpose of the teacher if everything is automated? All these things. This is stage 1. Denial and shock. Stage 2, you're trying to surrender, you're depressed, things are going online, I can't do anything about it, I tried to fight it, I tried to deny it, what's happening, I'm depressed. And then you move to acceptance and actually being part of it and successfully using it and improving. If you're conscious about those 3 stages, you can move faster in those 3 stages. But if you're not conscious to these stages, you might get stuck in one of them for a long time. This is why it's really important to know that this is how our brain works. So if you're using something new, even if it's not online learning, you will go through these stages. And if you're conscious and aware of them, you will know what to do in every stage, and you will be accepting that this is normal, and you're looking forward to the next stage. This makes the change faster. So I had to say this because I always see it. And I've been doing this for a very long time, and I've been training teachers. And honestly, the first thing I say in the first lecture for them in online learning, guys, you can argue as long as you want, but I only have one request. Please argue after you try the system and after you build the experience. And then you will have a very good base to argue from. But if you haven't tried it, you have no base to argue from. The simple thing is, have you tried it? No. Then your argument has no weight. So if you go into the experience, and this is what's learning, you will go through these stages faster, you will become more convinced, and you will understand that this tool is really good. Online learning is good. And if we work as a team, me and the parents, if the children are small and young, things will move better than just denying and trying to resist. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing. This is how we are, humans. So if I bought a new phone and I'm used to use Android and it's an iPhone, I will go through this process. It's not an option. But if I'm aware, I can go faster. So how can I make change successful? Communication. If I communicate properly, clearly, using more than one channel, so if I send my information through video, text, and ask people to repeat after me or do the thing I asked them to explain to them, they will understand, so I communicated properly. If I communicate properly, I can manage change properly. So communicate clearly to manage the expectations. If I have parents involved, I build a parent manual. I make a small video to the parents. I actually involve parents in the video call. So I communicate with the parents properly. If you're going to a doctor and this doctor tells you, you're going to wait for 2 hours in my office before I see you. And you go there and wait for an hour and a half and then you're welcomed. You'll be happy. But if a doctor tells you, come to my office, and you have no idea how long you'll wait. And if you waited for 15 minutes, you get frustrated. It wasn't communicated. Expectations are not managed. But the first case, it was communicated, expectations was managed, and things were okay for you. So if I tell you online learning, at the beginning it will be challenging, then you will adapt, and then you can improve, and you will see that your students will have better grades and better scores. And I can tell you how long it will take you, then you will be fine with it. Same thing when you communicate with your students and with their parents. Provide evidence. Always ask for evidence to argue with someone about anything. Online learning, have you used it before? No? Then please don't argue. Let's talk evidence-based. Push for experience again. Make them try it and then argue about it. don't keep arguing. You'll waste a lot of time because they don't have a base and they're just doing assumptions and hypotheses and so on. Also answer a question, what's in it for me? How are they benefiting? What skills will they develop and so on? Make sure you have short achievable goals and targets. So for example, some teachers give grades for students just for using the platform properly. So if you submitted your assignments correctly, you get 2 marks extra. So questions, the assignment will have 10 marks, 8 on the questions and 2 on how we're using the platform properly, and you haven't caused any problems submitting your assignment. Give them incentives. Be an active listener also. So listen to their problems so you can learn more. We're always learning, so we can't claim that we know everything. Okay, I think I'm 10 minutes over, but now we can take questions and open discussion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nidal, for the great presentation. It has a lot of helpful information for all of us. The good news for our educators for the Arabic curriculum, the Syllabus Arabic series is now online. The link mentioned in this page goes directly to our NurArt page for the Syllabus online platform. You can email or call us for details. This is just a short break. Now we will go to the question and answer. The good news, Akhi Nidal, that we are all of us on stage 3 per the curve you mentioned. We already accepted the challenge. There is COVID-19. We will all of us override it, inshallah. We accepted the challenge, and we are now in the integration process to do what is the best for our students. So it's a good news. Alhamdulillah, in the past few months we got over it, all of us. I will start now with the question and answers. I will read the question, then you answer it for all of us. Hiba Hantash is saying, what is your opinion with the ideal size of the group attending one online session? Ideal size, it's elementary school.
Okay,
ideal
we
size.
don't recommend live lectures for students because the number of students is really hard to handle. This in particular problem caused the US to have something called teacher pods, where a teacher can only meet with 5 students and focus on them. But honestly, if you're teaching anyone above the grade 4, you don't have to get them all in one virtual call. You send the videos that explain the subject, you send the reading material, you put the assignments, and you make a lot of assignments so you can understand your students. And you have an office hour that not all students show up. If no one showed up, this means they understand. If a few students showed up, just answer their questions, explain to them. But you don't have to put all students in one call for a very long time, and your next teacher will do the same thing, and the next teacher will do the same thing. So students will get tired from video calls all day, and they have migraine, and it's not healthy. This is not online learning. This is the same as what we do in classrooms, but virtual. In Arabic, we say talqeen. This is talqeen electronic. This is digital talqeen. And all teachers, I know they say talqeen is not the best way to do teaching. And unfortunately, when we had the COVID-19, this is all they've done using video conferencing, which is something that is not online learning. You can take any online course and you will see this is not the way that online learning is done.
Okay, what I would do now to mix and match, I have questions written in the question and answer. If you would like to, do you have someone raising the hand so we can give the mic? Okay, so we'll go with that.
I don't have, yeah.
If anyone would like to ask verbally question, raise your hand. We'll give you the time after a few minutes, inshallah. Okay, the other question, some of the educators saying the masjid can get Google G Suite for non-profit for free. The same portal that public schools use. They are just adding a note. Do you have?
Yes, this is correct.
So this is correct. So they can get it for free. Good, perfect. The other question.
We have Tahrir raised her hand. Should we take
Yeah,
her?
you can give her the mic, yes.
Okay.
Then,
Assalamu alaikum, Tahrir. Please ask your question.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
There are, mashallah, a lot of resources. Thank you so much, Jazakallah khair, for giving this webinar. And it is very useful because we thought that we were limited to only a couple of resources. But I wanted to ask you, is it possible to have the recording available later to watch it again?
Yeah. I think, yes, Noor Art will provide the recording and the presentation slides.
yes, we mentioned that in the chats with all participants. Yes, the recorded session will be published soon on our website. So you can watch it and send it to other interested teachers. Thank you, Sister Tahira, I think. Tahira Sarwar. Thank you very much.
Tahira,
Okay.
sorry, I got the name wrong.
Yeah, Tahira, yeah. Now I have a text question. Monica Robinson is saying, is it best practice to allow all students to enter content on the stream, or should it be muted on some fashion?
Okay, the stream on Google Classroom, I guess, is only used for discussion, not content sharing. If the student is sending a content, they can send it on the stream, but this is non-formal content. It's not related to classwork. It's not related to an assignment or to anything else. It's just extra material. If you want your students to submit content to your assignment, it needs to be done in the classwork. You need to create an assignment for that, and the submission is done inside the assignment. So you can track it, give it a grade, and give it feedback.
Let me ask you from my side, if I understand the question in different angle, like let's say via Zoom conferencing or like live classes, can we give the mics to students, like to let them talk whenever they want, or to share some content, text, or it's another question, let's say from my side.
Again, I'm against using video conferencing as a lecture. Online learning is not structured this way. You use the video conferencing as an office hours, and you use it to help students who have questions and they need support. And this is why you will end up with a few students on your call. So you can give them all the mic, or you can mute them all. It's your choice. You can manage it according to the number of users that you have on the call. But I know that everyone wants to use the video conferencing to teach. It's easier. It's wrong. This is not the right way. You need to plan your curriculum or weekly plans, syllabus, content that is ready. You don't have to create your content. It's out there. And if you're asking about your touch as a teacher, your touch is in the feedback, in the support that you provide to your students online. So perfect. I hope I answered this question.
Yeah, would you please give the mic to Norma, teacher Norma Abu Tarbush? Yeah. You give her the mic, please.
Done.
My question is about teaching Quran. How could you do it without having the video conference? If teaching Quran, teaching the students how to read.
Okay, there's a lot of applications that do that. So what you need to do is assign the assignment. Make sure that there is an assignment due. You ask them to read and submit the audio file, and you check and review the audio file. And then you can ask for an office hour meeting, one-on-one, to make sure that the student that you find struggling is actually doing something wrong, and you want to see what they're doing. But there is a lot of applications that teach reading Quran. What you need to be doing is assigning this application to your students and make sure that they are following up on that application. And they are reading according to the schedule, and you're listening to their readings. So you don't have to open a lot. Think about your student. If I'm a student and you want me to read for 5 minutes, I need to wait 40 or 30 minutes for my turn, and then I get to spend those 5 minutes with you. This is a lot of wasted time. If there's an app that I can use, read the Quran, and then send you a file that you can listen to on your time, send me your feedback. Maybe it can be a voice recording feedback. So you want to show me how to pronounce some of the alphabets. This is a lot of time saving. But if you want to gather all of them in one call, you're wasting a lot of time.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, I know it's different, but this is the case.
Okay. Would you please give it to teacher Lubna Muawad now, the mic? Then I'll go to my questions,
Okay.
please.
Done. Lubna, your mic is off. Turned off.
Now,
Yeah.
thank you so much for everything. My question is for freelancer teacher or for in general teacher. Like, do you know any app or web that will be good to see the teacher's evaluation by student? Like if the students want to write recommendation or evaluate teacher?
You want your students to evaluate the teacher.
Mm-hmm.
You can use survey tools like SurveyMonkey if you want to survey teachers. But can you explain a bit more the setting, the context?
Okay, like if any students want to study with any teacher, they wanted to know about like the evaluation about this teacher.
You're talking about something like a review, like the review you find on Amazon for a product. You want something like that for the teachers.
Exactly.
I'm not sure that there is something like this, according to my knowledge. I know a few people who are working on making a product like this, because now it's becoming something that is of need. But honestly, on top of my head, all the websites I know, they recruit their own teachers. So you're reviewing not the teacher, you're reviewing the course, which is not exactly what you want. I understand. So on top of my head, I don't know any websites that do that.
So like for product, not for teacher, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question from one of the team. Are you going to show how to use Microsoft Teams as you did with Google Classroom?
Not really. Not really good with Microsoft Teams, the education side, because when you open Microsoft Teams the first time, it asks you, do you want to use it as a corporate or as an education? And eventually, I'm using it as a corporate. So it's a bit different. I don't have anything to show on my screen. It will be a different design. But there's a lot of videos that you can find on how to use Teams for education.
Okay. Another question, Nasira Alud, can you please list some resources for teaching Quran online? Do you have any resources, or we can email it to them later on?
Yes, I'll email some of the resources that we have.
Okay, perfect. Mashallah, I have like a couple of people more raising their hands. What I will do, I'll go with the questions quickly written.
Okay.
Okay. If you have several calendars, do all students have access to same, or can some be private for the teacher, like the one for the assessment, for example?
You can have your own private calendar that is outside of Google Classroom, which is the standard Google Calendar. But what Google does, every time you create a classroom, it builds a new calendar for you. And this calendar is automatically filled with the tasks that are for that classroom. So if you want something that is not shared with your students, use your general calendar. They don't have access to that.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Now let's give the mic to Shireen Hamouda, if you don't mind.
Done. Shireen, your mic is muted.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
Jazakallah kul khair for this beautiful webinar, very informative. I have a couple of questions. Number one, how are we sure that the students will actually watch the pre-recorded lectures? Because we know how students are. They procrastinate, they leave everything at the last minute, they're not reliable. What if they don't watch these pre-recorded lectures or classes and do their work? I feel like if they were on a live session, at least the teacher knows they're attending, and in her creative way, she could teach them and get them interested in class. I know it's probably too much, 5 days a week, an hour every, like a couple hours every day, but at least some live sessions and some pre-recorded sessions that they could watch. Because I know out of my experience of, seeing how students are, they're not really going to go online and watch these videos, like we expect them to. So what's your advice on that?
Okay. First, I'm not going to argue. I'm going to ask you to use both. Give them the freedom. And after you spend maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks on video calls, you will get tired eventually, and you will see that less and less are showing up to that video call. The problem of their discipline on watching a recorded video is not solved by making a virtual classroom every single day. The problem is solved by making sure that they are supervised by their parents and doing enough awareness to the parents if we're talking about younger children. But if we're talking about older children, maybe grade 5 and above, or 4 and above, we will actually make sure that it's communicated to them that it's their responsibility. And if you're doing a lot of assessments every week, more than the ones that you do in class, so if you're used to do, let's say, per week 4 assessments, you need to be doing 12 for online. So you multiply it by 3. It's a big number, yes, but you have time to do the feedback because there's no online lessons. But if you have online lessons, you won't have time for anything. So from their answers, from their grades, you can immediately know if they're doing, if they're reading or viewing the videos or doing the content that you're sending them. So you immediately communicate with their parents. I'm a bit worried about this child. They're not getting answers correctly. It seems that they're not reading the material. Please supervise them and make sure that they actually read the material. So I know it's easy to solve it by putting them in front of the camera. It makes you feel better first. They get tired. You don't have time to do a proper assessment and feedback. And eventually online learning will fail. Everyone is tired and everyone's complaining. But again, my answer is try both. Build your own experience and see for yourself how it will come up. I hope I answered the question. Thank you.
Okay, we have like maybe less than around 15 minutes. I'll ask you the questions quickly. I think all of the people now raising their hands, we did already answer the questions. If you don't mind to unraise your hand. For now question from Huda, for younger students, which online platform for classroom management is a must kid-friendly? Many use Google Classroom, but it may be challenging for younger students. In that case, what platform do you recommend? And if so, for which grades?
Class Dojo. I'm trying to, okay. So if you go Class Dojo, and yes, this one is for the younger grade. It's fun. It's free. It's fun. It's really good to communicate with the parents. I love it. Use it. It's amazing, and it's very easy. It's very easy to use. So Class Dojo, my answer.
Perfect. Other question is, for which grade we answered. The other question, Ima Youssef, as a Sunday school, you have parents, they want the lessons to be live, not recording. This way, we will lose some students to online classes from overseas. For me, the question I'm trying, as a Sunday school, you have parents, they want the lessons to be live, not recording. I got this point. This way, we will lose some students to
I
online
understood
classes.
the question.
Okay.
Yeah, understood the question. So if it's only one class a week, this is not a regular K-12 schooling. So you're only giving 1 hour per week. No problem, you can make it online. But if you're doing schools, so if you're doing 7 sessions a day, 5 days a week, don't use virtual classroom. Don't use video conferencing for lectures. Use it for office hours. But if you're doing only Sundays, then it's not a problem.
Perfect. Okay, the other question, is Google Classroom a good website? Should we consider others like Moodle or ThinkFig? I have seen reference to both those websites. Do they have an advantage over Google Classroom, Moodle, and ThinkFig?
Yeah, Moodle and other systems, they need a proper setup. They're very complicated. So if your school is not using Moodle and there's no IT support doing the installation on servers, making the setup, it's very complicated. I've used Moodle to give two classes. Honestly, it takes a lot of time to build assignments on it because there's so many functions. So Moodle, if you want to compare Moodle to Google, Google is like 5% of Moodle. Moodle has so many functions. This makes it very complicated. An article came up in 2015 saying that 70% of Moodle features are not used because they're so complicated, people can't use them properly. Moodle is 18 years old. Actually, today is Moodle's birthday. So because it's an old system, it's a legacy system, and it's complicated. Universities use Blackboard, Schoology, Moodle, and all these things because they have an IT support. If your school doesn't have all that support, Google is a good option. Teams is a good option. Edmodo is a good option. Class Dojo is a good option. But if you have the proper IT support, staff, servers, and all that, you can use Blackboard. You can use Moodle. It's your call.
Perfect. What about children ages 4 to 6 years old? I think we answered this before with the Class Dojo, correct?
Yes, and usually those ages we don't say online learning, we say homeschooling, and parents are heavily involved. Mm-hmm. So if I'm a teacher, 70% of my time is with parents, asking them to do activities for those children, asking them to record them on video so I can see what they're doing, getting feedback and stuff like
that. Our school is using Moodle platform for grade 7 and up and websites for younger grades. What do you think?
I think all tools are good if they're used properly. So there's no bad tool or good tool. It's how you use it. When we give general presentations and general advice, we go to Moodle and Teams because they're really easy and they are free. So there is no boundaries to use them. But if your school has Moodle and you're trained on Moodle, so you need to get proper training, and you're familiar with the environment and your students are familiar with the environment, it's okay. But Google is much easier. To give you an example, Moodle from 18 years, they have almost 20 million users. Google started in 2013, so 7 years. They have almost 60 million users. It's very easy to use, so people just use it. So there's no right or wrong.
Perfect. There's a teacher commenting on a previous question asking how, on this question, Masjid can get Google G Suite for nonprofit for free, the same portal that public schools use. How
You have to go to the G Suite for Education portal and apply there. If you have a URL that's .org, for example, this means you're an organization, you're a nonprofit. You apply. They ask for some legal documents to prove that you're a nonprofit, and you get it. You get it for free. You get free unlimited emails, unlimited storage, and all these features.
Perfect. Is it possible for students and teachers to record videos or voice in Google Classroom to share recitation or participate in Quran, for example? I think that was a typo. Anyway.
If you want to record, if you're asking as a recording, not in a live conference call, not like the recording we're doing now, you don't need to use anything. Just use your computer or your mobile phone, record the file on the computer, and upload it on YouTube. This is a link that you can put it anywhere.
Can they upload it like as a file attachment? It will be a huge file, correct? I think this is why.
Yes, they can. I don't recommend that. You can upload any file you want, video or audio, but the other side, they have to download it. So imagine you're a teacher and you got 25 videos that you need to download on your computer.
On your mobile
It's not
phone?
realistic. Yeah. So if you have the option, yeah.
Is it easy to teach in a class in person, and should I be online with others? With the others?
At the same time?
Yes.
You can ask, okay, in order to do it properly, you need a laptop for every student that is absent, and you need to put it on their desk. The camera is facing you, and they are seeing the lecture. But honestly, it's not really user-friendly for the teacher. You will have a lot of issues. You need chargers, you need, it's not really recommended. I would, yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, in the US now, most of the states, they offer parents three options, like to go to the school, to be online 100%, or hybrid, mix and match. So I think the question in that way, like if the school, if I'm a teacher and some students are attending, some they are at home. So would it be okay to be running the same class, or to be different style?
It should be different style. The students at home, they have recorded content, they access it on their time. It's different than the students in the class.
I teach at a US high school, Arabic 1, 2, and 3. What are your recommendations for teaching various level students, non-native, heritage, and native, in the same class? Thank you.
You're teaching three?
Yeah, I think this is a very specific question, like for the Arabic language. I teach at US high school.
3 grades in the same classroom? So you have 3 different ages?
She's saying, what are your recommendations for teaching various level students, like non-native, heritage, and native? I think she is talking about the student level, different levels in the same classroom. I would say,
yeah. If you have an answer,
it's up to you. If you can answer, that's fine. But I think it's a very technical issue for the Arabic language, or teaching a language. It's not something for online. No, I'm just saying, you can. If you have an answer, we will appreciate it. But if not, it's okay, because you are the webinar about.
Yeah, usually project-based learning is a good thing to group 3 3 levels of students in the same group, where you have the one that is the higher level is teaching the others, and the challenge in the assignment for the project needs to be to match that student, the higher level student. This student will try to bring those students to his level, of course, and the way you design that activity needs to accommodate for individual efforts in the group. So every student needs to prove that they actually added some of their effort to the end goal or the result. students learn better, especially from each other, especially if it's a language. So when you get students in groups, it's a good idea, I think. Wallahu alam.
Allahu alam. I think in the online, it's much easier to control than the actual class, the physical class, because you can send different assignments. Now, this issue with Islamic study, with the Arabic language, most of the teachers, they complain in the same class, they have different students' backgrounds, so they cannot manage it 100% right. But with the online, I hope it's much easier. You are saying that recording sessions are better than live classes. What if the students don't watch the recordings or videos, at least live classes, they will be obliged to attend and learn? Obliged to attend and learn.
This question.
Yes.
I think we answered this question, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
On Zoom, moderators can give permission to participants to share videos and mic, but it is not recommended unless the students are mature enough and not send anything inappropriate. I think this is a comment or a question. It's a comment, I think.
I don't know.
Okay, answer. Give us an example of app teaching the Quran. You said you will send later on, inshallah.
Yes.
We'll email. Same question about Quran reading apps.
I'll be sending those, yes.
Okay, rate your prof. Maybe it can work. Same thing. Same question. Actually, most of the questions the same. How you can guarantee students watch the videos or not? I think we answered.
Do you want me to take from the raised hands?
Yes, I think what we will do today, if we run out of time, because we have to finish at 7 after 4 minutes sharp. If we finish all written question, we'll answer them tomorrow, inshallah, at the beginning of the webinar or at the end. Now we have, I think, Nadia Zahim. Just you can give her hand. The others we answered before. You can give the mic to Nadia.
Okay, done.
Brother
Salam.
Khalifa, thank you so much for your webinar. It was really good. I can't wait for tomorrow's. My question first is a comment. It's just like I agree with the fact that we can't be like live the whole time. Eventually, it's going to get really boring for the children and for us. However, for the little ones, my concern is for the little ones. And in our county, unfortunately, we're supposed to be online from 9 a.m. to 3:15 p.m. And I was wondering what advice can you give for us as parents and teachers to keep these children motivated and keep attending? And they will be live like from. There will be some break times, but they will be live the whole time. And I understand for the little ones, it's good for the social part to develop their social skills and everything, so they can see their classmates and their teacher. But eventually, what advice can you give for us to help these children stay motivated to stay live with us day in, day out?
I don't think there's an advice for that, because you need to find a way to reach to the decision makers and tell them this is not appropriate. You can't put a child for 7 hours a day in front of a computer and expect them to be motivated. If you're watching your best TV show, you can't watch it for 7 hours, 5 times a day. This is not realistic. So you need to reach out to the decision makers and make sure that you lobby teachers to get this message across. I know they don't listen a lot to teachers, but if you lobby if you use your friends and all that and send a direct message, this is not healthy to our children. You can't expect a child to be seated for all this time, even if you give them a break. I've been sitting here for an hour and a half, and I feel like moving. And I'm 38 years old, you know. Imagine my heart is pumping twice as it's pumping now. I can't sit for that long. and it doesn't make sense. We know that attention span for children is very low. So this is not the right way to do it. It's the easy way. It's not the right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, last question, or we stop here? 29 minutes now. I think.
Yeah, we'll take last question from.
Last question. What?
But really quick, please. Yeah. Oh, okay. You're reading one. Okay.
Yes, reading one. What is the name of the app that checks and corrects kids' reading?
Read along.
Read along. Does it support the Arabic language or not? You said I think doesn't support.
No,
Okay.
It doesn't.
Read along by Google. Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Nidal Khalifeh, for this wonderful webinar and very helpful information. Thank you all our educators for attending. See you tomorrow, same time, inshallah. Prepare your questions, send them in the question and answer section so we can answer them first come, first serve, and whatever left over questions we can answer them via email. Thank you very much. Take care and happy weekend. Happy learning.
السلام عليكم.
السلام ورحمة الله. شكرا لكم جميعا.